I'll give you a bit of a background. This happened about 8 years ago, and I was about 21 or 22. I am taller than average, eat like a linebacker, but look like a twig. I was the manager of a retail portrait studio, and the only one without kids, so I frequently pulled the late shifts. This studio was in a mall as well, so around the holidays I was in the store until about 10 or 11, sometimes later. Across the hall from my studio is one of those hand lotion kiosks where the heavily cologned Middle Eastern guy try to corner you, tell you all about his miracle mineral that you simply must have. To those people, we hate that shit. Stop touching me. Anyways, these guys drove our customers crazy, but they technically weren't breaking any rules and were usually harmless. Anyway, one night I was on my own and it was getting on 10 p.m. It wasn't time to close the gate yet, and there were still shoppers in the mall, so I was just milling around and making sheets for the next day's appointments. I happened to notice a guy in a maroon velour tracksuit with gold piping walk by the front of the store a few times. This irks me a bit. I still have an hour drive home after my work in my rusty old Ford. So, I make my way into the back room and keep an eye on the security monitors. I should note that it doesn't record. It's basically a baby monitor and used to keep tabs on the staff at the front desk and know if a customer walked in. This guy walks by a few more times and eventually walks in and is looking at all the display portraits done by our staff. Of course, I have to greet him, so I put on my best "How can I help you, sir?" face and walk back behind the counter. Are you looking to book an appointment? I asked this guy while gagging on the noxious fumes that is his cologne. I came to tell you you are beautiful. You are so beautiful. He responds in a very thick, English is not my first language, I haven't been here long Middle Eastern accent. I smile sweetly. I am a great salesperson and thank him for kindly for the nice compliment. At this point, I figure he is just going to smile and leave, perhaps. Nope, just stares at me silently for like 2 minutes. I ask if I can help him out with anything. He says maybe and starts to walk out of my store, but keeps looking back. I shoot a text to my stepfather, an old army vet, and let him know what's up. He calls my store and tells me to get security to walk me to my car. Says in Middle Eastern culture, it's normal for the men to just take a woman to be their wife, by force, if necessary. Well, that feels like a bit much, so I say I'm sure it will be fine. As soon as I hang up the phone, maroon jumpsuit guy comes out of the bathroom next to my store and walks past like 8 more times. I start to lower my gate to close my store, which I will leave open enough to get out, but signals that we are closed. Dude starts walking to my store and fast, so I close it all the way. I then said he can book an appointment tomorrow. He says nothing but stares at me, and now I'm looking for a weapon. I pick up the store phone and ask for security as though I did this all the time, and the guys bail out one of the nearby main entrances. Now for me to leave. I would walk through the service hall right across the street, and fortunately, that hall opens to a gated dumpster area behind a restaurant that you can't see from the main entrance. I took it to my bucket of bolts and locked the doors. Safety. I pull out of the parking lot and see this dude about 100 feet away from the main door, just watching it. As I drove past him, he stood up from the bench and glared at me, once at the light to leave the parking lot. I looked again. He was running through the parking lot toward a black SUV sitting under a broken lamp. I told security the next day and they set up a scissor lift with a security post on it. Guy never came back. I found out later there was a string of attempted kidnappings in the area, all young pretty girls. There was a suspected human trafficking ring popping up in the state.